You think medieval art only featured stern saints and cloaked kings? Apologies, but the margins of the books back then were an amusement park for wild imagination. There, knights were chased by snails, bulls shot biological weapons, trees grew sheep, and heads sprouted legs and strolled around like nothing was amiss. Prepare to overturn all prejudices. Today we delve into the top 10 most bizarre creatures to emerge from medieval manuscripts, spanning from lowbrow humor to deadly allegory, from misunderstood science to power-poking satire. And listen, at number 1 will be something simultaneously minimalist and utterly absurd. You won't forget it. Don't blink, because the deeper we go, the more your mind will want to scream, "No way!" But your eyes will confirm, "My God, it's real in the margins." Before we dive in, my promise to you, each creature will have a concise context, an easy-to-grasp meaning, theory, one key phrase to remember, and a smooth transition to the next entry. Hit like if you learned something new. Comment the creature you want us to symbolically dissect in the next segment. Ready? Let's get to work. Number 10. Monopod, or Sciopod, the one who uses their own foot as a sun umbrella. In many Latin and Anglo-French manuscripts, they are drawn as a one-legged person with a massive foot, often lying on their back, raising the foot to shade themselves. The name Sciapodes means shadow feet. This bizarre figure, rooted in classical legends, was included in bestiaries. The meaning? Some see it as an exaggeration of lazy people from distant lands, while others read it as an allegory. Humans create comforts only to become confined by their own creation's shadow. The monopod illustrates how geographical ignorance was filled with mythological figures. Remember this one line: sunscreen? Sorry, I use my foot. And if you think this sun protection method is the strangest, imagine a bull that uses a weapon you wouldn't want near your new shoes. Number 9. Bonacon, the firepower bull of the bestiary. While it superficially resembles an ordinary bull, its curved horns are useless for fighting. Its true weapon? A massive quantity of hot, corrosive excrement projected directly at its pursuers. Manuscripts often depict hunters fleeing in utter panic. Many creatures of that era carried a moral lesson, but the Bonacon's purpose seems almost purely to be vulgar and funny, a humorous jab at solemnity. However, this dirty humor served a function. The memorable absurdity helped enforce the underlying message. Perhaps, don't chase everything for the sake of victory. The Bonacon showcases that lowbrow humor has deep historical roots. Remember, the Middle Ages knew how to laugh dirtily and cleverly. If you think the mischief only happens on land, wait, we are about to dive into the sea and meet a creature wearing a habit. Number 8. Sea monk, an underwater friar, or just human eyes deceiving themselves. Northern European accounts tell of a creature caught off the Danish coast, shaped like a monk in a robe. Engravings from the 16th century depict it with a cowl, belt, and long garment, making it clear why fishermen were confused. Yet, underneath the surface, it had the biological mechanics of an ordinary fish. The most plausible theory involves mistaken identity combined with pareidolia, the tendency of the human brain to see human forms everywhere, especially when interpreting new, strange, natural phenomena. This creature highlights the strange intersection of maritime life and religious belief in explaining the unknown. The sea monk serves as a reminder. When knowledge is sparse, the world's shadows are cast as strange tales. From the sea friar, we return to fire, where a real animal becomes an anti-fire symbol entering alchemy. Number 7. Salamander, the non-burning newt of legend. Medieval artists often depicted the salamander as a strange creature, sometimes hairy, occasionally with a slightly human face. The classic explanation: the newt shelters in damp firewood, and when the fire ignites, it runs out, leading people to believe it was born from, and thus immune to, fire. In alchemical texts, the salamander became an allegory for purity and the ability to pass through the fiery trial of transformation without corruption. Of course, the real newt is not fireproof. Legend is what we use to fill the gaps in our understanding of nature. The severe deviation from biological fact, including adding human-like hair and faces, is a hallmark of bestiary illustration. See? From a simple biological misunderstanding, imagination twists reality. And if one head isn't confusing enough, try imagining a snake. with two heads pulling each other in opposite directions. Number 6. Amphisbaena, the snake that goes both ways at once. Its name is derived from the Greek meaning to go both ways. The creature is simple. Two heads at two ends, each acting as a main head. The main issue? The two heads rarely agree. The result is a body trapped between two conflicting commands. Read lightly, it's funny. Read deeply, it's the perfect allegory for internal conflict or political gridlock, a kingdom, two factions, a single body torn apart by disagreement. Bestiaries use the creature's ridiculous predicament to preach the moral lesson of unity, cautioning readers against self-inflicted harm. The Amphisbaena is a timeless symbol of indecision and conflicting wills. So what about a humanoid creature that enters the forest and doesn't kill anyone with sharp claws? What does it do? Warning. The answer is a different kind of violence. Soft as a feather, but deadly. Number 5. Shirale, the long finger of the northern forest. In the Tatar, Bashkir folklore, today's Russian territory, Shirale is a tall, thin creature with branch-like fingers, dwelling in deep woods. He doesn't hunt like a wolf or stalk like a vampire. Instead, he leads the lost into thickets and tickles them to death. While it sounds like a joke, its bizarrely non-aggressive yet deadly behavior is genuinely unsettling. Shirale reminds us that death doesn't only come from fangs, it can come from a playful act pushed too far. The creature highlights the unique fears and narrative styles of Slavic folklore. From the twisted smile in the forest, we return to the margins of the book, where an extremely slow creature suddenly becomes a war machine and overturns the order of power right before the reader's eyes. Number 4. Snails. The snails attacking knights. If you haven't seen this scene, look up 14th century marginal manuscripts, gigantic snails pointing spears while heavily armored knights tremble. Why snails? Why the size? Why the fear? Scholars propose multiple theories. A satire of the knightly class, which was perceived as cumbersome and ineffective, an allegory for the slow but certain approach of death, or perhaps just visual humor to keep the scribe entertained. Whatever the reason, the snail became an ancient meme. The repeated motif is an effective tool for both amusement and memory. This frequent marginal illustration showcases the high level of political and social commentary tolerated in medieval art. Once you've accepted a weapon-wielding snail, you are ready to meet people with an even more incredible appearance. No head, with faces on their chests, still talking, and they have addresses on the map. Number 3. Blemmies, the headless human race. In the medieval tradition of monstrous races, blemmies are humanoid creatures whose faces grow on their chests. Getty Images. They were considered inhabitants of strange, distant lands, sometimes even drawn on maps as a curious reality lying outside the strict borders of European geographical knowledge. For mapmakers, blemmies served as a framework to convey the fear, wonder, and curiosity surrounding the other and the unknown world. This creature is a powerful lesson in how knowledge, when incomplete, constructs the monstrous out of sheer lack of dialogue. The next transition will be even more severe. From human-turned-monster, we go to a plant-turned-animal. Are you ready for a garden that sprouts sheep? Number 2. Vegetable lamb of Tartary, the plant that gives birth to sheep. Sounds absurd, but was. Extremely logical in a world that didn't understand cotton. The legend states that this plant produced fruit that were baby lambs. The lambs had bones and blood. When they consumed all the grass around the root, the plant lamb died. Many early modern European scholars seriously recorded this story as fact. The favorite explanation today: a geographical misunderstanding of cotton. Travelers described something new using the only vocabulary they had, and thus the soft-haired plant became the sheep plant. This perfectly demonstrates how knowledge was distorted through trade, routes, and oral accounts. The power of imagination lies here. It bridges the chasm between fragmented pieces of knowledge. And then, when everything has gone too far, imagination self-satirizes, cutting off almost the entire body, retaining only the absurd core. Chances are we are approaching number 1. Number 1, Gryllus, a head placed directly on a pair of legs, and that's all it takes. The grilli run around the margins of the page, sometimes in packs, sometimes interacting playfully with the serious text. There is no noble origin or grand narrative. It's simply a form of grotesque that is so visually ridiculous it becomes iconic. Why did they draw them? Perhaps just to break the solemnity and keep the reader sharp. Perhaps it was an exercise in imagination, reducing the body to the bare essentials to see if the figure still works as a character. In any case, Gryllus is the perfect punchline. Amidst a forest of symbols, this is the raw laugh, a laugh at human imagination itself. What keeps these medieval concepts thriving today? They possess three things: modern culture values, social commentary, visual memorability, memes, and a story to tell. Before leaving the video, let me ask, which creature do you want me to dissect the most? The snail meme, the blemmies on the map, or the salamander in alchemy? Comment the exact name, add your reason, and I will select the 3 most unique comments for the next segment, where we trace the creature from the manuscript to the holding museum. If this clip made you both laugh and learn, hit like so the algorithm knows you love bizarre antiques. Subscribe with the bell on. Close the book, but don't close your mind. See you at the next margin.